Hello, it's Gregory from B2, and we're talking today about real recovery. This is my favorite vitality pillar, by the way. It's a Saturday morning. I'm in a nice tea room drinking some great Ceylon tea, and I am in full recovery mode. So let's talk about this for a minute. Stress is good. It helps you get prepared for client meetings. It helps you get prepared for presentations, sometimes meetings with your boss that may or may not go very well. Anything that is stress related, here's what happens. Your brain is filled with chemicals, your heart rate increases, and you become very excited, and your entire central nervous system gets ready for the stressor to come. And by the way, there will be those kinds of stresses every day, as I think you already know. Now here's what's important. For every time you have a stressor, there needs to be recovery. If you don't get recovery after stressors, bad things will happen. In the short term, sleeplessness, agitation, even depression, and in the long term, medical problems can really increase. I've seen it hundreds of times as we've worked with global CEOs and leaders around the world. Don't become one of those people. Embrace stress, but also make sure that you get full recovery. And you know, the recovery part is really as individual as you are. For me, it's a Saturday morning. I'm drinking tea, I'm reading a newspaper, and I'm sitting for maybe an hour or two, not thinking about work, but fully recovering. For others of you, it might be taking a yoga class, it might be taking a nap when you can sneak one in, particularly on the weekends. But it has to be a clear delineation from the work that you're doing. So for instance, a 5 or 10 minute break, that's not full recovery or complete recovery. Complete recovery means that you take a period of time to really relax and get yourself ready for the next portion or the next session of stress that is absolutely likely to come within the next 24 hours, if not sooner. Now, let's talk about sleep for a minute. I am fully aware that many of you are thinking that you can get by on 5 or 6 hours of sleep per night, and you're probably doing just fine with it. We need, all of us, globally, at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, every night. Are you always going to get that? Absolutely not. But it's a goal you want to aim for. If you're wondering if what I'm telling you about sleep is real, Google it. Over 60% of the world's population is sleep deprived. And what happens when you sleep, and you sleep for 7 to 9 hours, even 6 can count as a start, okay? But let's shoot for 7 to 9. Your brain actually takes recently acquired information from work and sorts it out. It's kind of like a filing system in your brain. And then when you awaken, you are not only refreshed, much more refreshed than you have on 5 hours or 6 hours of sleep, but your brain is more organized. And I think probably all of you have had the experience of awakening after a really good night's sleep and figuring out a difficult problem that you weren't able to do before the night before. So I want to ask you and really implore you to think about this. For every stressor that you have, think about having an equal amount of recovery. Find recovery rituals. And around sleep, a few last tips. Keep your room very dark and probably a bit cooler than you're used to sleeping in the past or even now. When you sleep with the temperature a bit cooler, your sleep is deeper and more relaxed. Make sure all of your work materials are not in the room. Nothing. Don't look at your email a half hour before your bedtime. And finally, probably the most important recovery ritual I can give you is this. Have a bedtime ritual. For me, it's sitting and meditating or journaling. For others, it might be doing some light stretching. For you, it may be reading something very light and again, not work related. And for others, it may be reading to their kids, watching a funny TV show, something that is relaxing. Watching the news, for instance, is not considered a good bedtime ritual. So find your cadence with stress and recovery, and I will promise you that you will have a long and very, very illustrious career that creates resilience. Cheers.